The arrival. The vast expanse of space had always beckoned humanity, a siren call that whispered of endless possibilities and untold wonders. For centuries, humans had gazed at the stars, dreaming of the day they would venture beyond their own solar system. That day had finally arrived, but not in the way anyone had expected. It was a crisp autumn morning when the first signs of an alien presence appeared in Earth's skies. Massive ships, sleek and otherworldly, materialized above major cities across the globe. Their sudden appearance sent shockwaves through human society, triggering a mixture of fear, excitement, and confusion. Dr. Samantha Chen, lead scientist at the Global Space Initiative, found herself at the center of humanity's first contact scenario. As she stood in the control room of the GSI headquarters, surrounded by a cacophony of alarms and frantic chatter, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. A young analyst, his face pale with shock, responded, "Multiple objects detected in low Earth orbit, Doctor. They're massive. Nothing like we've ever seen before." Samantha nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "Any signs of hostility?" "Negative," another technician chimed in. "They're just hovering there." As the world's governments scrambled to respond to the situation, a message was broadcast simultaneously on every communication channel across the planet. The aliens, who called themselves the Zirconians, came with an offer to welcome humanity into the galactic community. Within hours, a delegation led by United Nations Secretary-General Adebayo Okonkwo was assembled to meet with the Zirconian representatives. Dr. Chen, given her expertise in xenobiology and astrocommunications, was included in this historic group. As they boarded the shuttle that would take them to the Zirconian mothership, Samantha felt a mix of trepidation and excitement. This was the moment humanity had been waiting for, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that they were woefully unprepared. The interior of the alien vessel was a marvel of technology and design. Sleek, organic shapes flowed seamlessly into each other, and lights pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm. The human delegation was led to a vast chamber where they first laid eyes on the Zirconians. The aliens were tall, willowy beings with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with every movement. Their large, almond-shaped eyes regarded the humans with a mixture of curiosity and what Samantha thought might be amusement. The lead Zirconian, who introduced himself as High Counselor Zarek, stepped forward. His voice, translated through some unseen technology, filled the chamber. "Greetings, people of Earth. We welcome you to the greater galactic community." Secretary-General Okonkwo, ever the diplomat, responded with grace. "On behalf of humanity, we thank you for this opportunity and look forward to peaceful cooperation." As the initial pleasantries were exchanged, Dr. Chen couldn't help but notice a certain condescension in the Zirconians' demeanor. It was subtle, but unmistakable. They viewed humans as primitive, barely worth their time. This became even more apparent as the discussions progressed. The Zirconians spoke of uplifting humanity, of guiding them towards a more advanced state. While some members of the human delegation seemed thrilled at the prospect, Samantha felt a growing unease. During a brief recess, she pulled Secretary-General Okonkwo aside. "Sir, I have concerns about the Zirconians' intentions. They're offering us technology and knowledge, but at what cost? They seem to view us as little more than children." Okonkwo frowned, considering her words. "I understand your concerns, Dr. Chen, but we can't afford to appear ungrateful or suspicious. This is a monumental opportunity for humanity." As the negotiations continued, the Zirconians revealed more about the galactic political landscape. Earth was situated in a region of space that had long been contested by various alien factions. The Zirconian Empire, they claimed, was offering humanity protection and guidance in exchange for allegiance. It was then that High Counselor Zarek dropped a bombshell. "Of course," he said, his tone casual yet laced with implications, "before we can fully welcome you into our protection, We must assess your species' potential. It is customary for new races to prove their worth through a series of trials. The human delegation exchanged nervous glances. Samantha felt her heart race. This was it, the catch she had been waiting for. What kind of trials? Secretary General Okonkwo asked, his voice carefully neutral. Zarek's lips curled into what might have been a smile. Nothing too taxing, I assure you. Simply a few tasks to demonstrate your adaptability, intelligence, and potential for growth. After all, we can't expend resources on a species that might not survive the rigors of galactic politics. As the details of these trials were laid out, it became clear that the Zarkonians had severely underestimated humanity. The tasks they proposed were indeed challenging, but not impossible, at least, not to human ingenuity. When the meeting concluded and the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, Dr. Chen couldn't shake off a sense of foreboding. The Zarkonians had revealed a galaxy far more complex and dangerous than anyone had imagined. Humanity was being thrust onto a cosmic stage, expected to perform or perish. As their shuttle descended back to Earth, Samantha gazed out at her home planet, blue and beautiful against the backdrop of space. She realized that everything was about to change. The trials ahead would push humanity to its limits, forcing them to innovate, adapt, and overcome in ways they had never done before. Little did the Zarkonians know, underestimating humans would prove to be their greatest mistake. For when backed into a corner, when faced with impossible odds, humanity had a knack for doing the extraordinary. The stage was set, and the greatest challenge in human history was about to begin. As news of the alien contact and the impending trials spread across the globe, reactions varied wildly. Some saw it as the dawn of a new age, a chance for humanity to prove itself on the galactic stage. Others viewed it with suspicion, fearing subjugation or worse. Dr. Chen found herself at the heart of Earth's preparation efforts. A hastily assembled team of the brightest minds from around the world was tasked with analyzing the Zarkonian technology and preparing strategies for the upcoming trials. In a secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Samantha stood before a group of scientists, engineers, and military personnel from dozens of countries. The air was thick with tension and excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice echoing in the cavernous room, "we stand at a crossroads in human history. The challenges ahead of us are immense, but so is our potential. The Zarkonians think they're testing us, but in reality, they're giving us the opportunity to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As she outlined what they knew of the trials, a murmur of determination spread through the crowd. The first challenge, it seemed, was to terraform a small, barren moon in a nearby star system, a task the Zarkonians estimated would take centuries with human technology. But already, ideas were flowing. A young Indian scientist proposed adapting extremophile bacteria to jumpstart the process. An Australian engineer suggested a network of orbiting mirrors to precisely control the moon's exposure to sunlight. As the discussion progressed, Samantha felt a surge of pride. This was humanity at its best, creative, collaborative, and utterly determined to succeed against all odds. However, not everyone shared her optimism. General Victor Ramirez, representing Earth's combined military forces, voiced his concerns. "While we're busy playing in sandboxes, we're leaving ourselves vulnerable. How do we know this isn't just a ploy to distract us while they prepare for invasion?" His words sent a ripple of unease through the room. Samantha had to admit he had a point. They couldn't afford to be naive. "You're right, General," she conceded. "We need to prepare for all possibilities. But right now, our best defense is to exceed their expectations so thoroughly that they'll think twice before considering us an easy target." As the meeting concluded, Samantha couldn't help but feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The decisions made in the coming weeks and months would shape the future of humanity. They had to succeed, not just for themselves, but for every generation that would follow. Outside the facility, the world was changing rapidly. Countries that had been on the brink of war now found common cause in facing this extraterrestrial challenge. Resources were pooled, and a new era of global cooperation began to emerge. In labs and workshops around the world, innovation flourished. Ideas that had once been dismissed as science fiction were now pursued with fervor. Antimatter propulsion, nanoscale robotics, even the fringes of gravitational manipulation, nothing was off the table. But as humanity rallied and prepared, unknown to them, events were unfolding in the stars that would soon test them far beyond what any trial could. The galaxy was a dangerous place, filled with ancient rivalries and hidden agendas. Earth, in its isolation, had been spared from these conflicts. But now, as it took its first steps onto the galactic stage, was about to be thrown into the heart of a cosmic storm. High above, in the Zarkonian mothership, High Counselor Zarek watched the frantic activity on Earth with growing unease. These humans were proving to be far more resourceful than anticipated. A subordinate approached, bowing low. "High Counselor, we've received a transmission from the homeworld. The Supreme Council is concerned about the human situation." Zarek's brow furrowed. "Concerned? We have everything under control. These primitives pose no threat." The subordinate hesitated before continuing. "There are whispers, sir. Some believe we may have made a mistake in revealing ourselves so soon. The human's rate of adaptation is unprecedented." For a moment, Zarek was silent, contemplating the implications. Then, with a dismissive wave, he said, "Increase surveillance. If these humans prove to be more trouble than they're worth, we may need to consider alternative solutions." As the subordinate hurried away, Zarek turned back to the view screen, watching the blue planet spin slowly below. For the first time since their arrival, a flicker of doubt crossed his mind. Had they, indeed, underestimated these humans? Back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the growing concerns above, humanity continued its feverish preparations. In her quarters, Dr. Samantha Chen pored over data from the latest experiments. Progress was being made, but would it be enough? As she gazed out her window at the star-filled sky, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a journey that would redefine what it meant to be human. The stage was set, the players were in motion, and the greatest trial in human history was about to unfold. Little did anyone know, the true test would come not from the Zarkonians' challenges, but from humanity's response to them. The galaxy watched, waited, and wondered. What would these newcomers from Earth do next? The Quantum Gambit. The dawn of a new era broke over Earth, painting the sky in hues of hope and trepidation. Humanity stood on the precipice of its greatest challenge, a test that would determine its place among the stars. The Zarkonian trials loomed large, but in labs and think tanks across the globe, a quiet revolution was brewing. Dr. Samantha Chen strode into the cavernous underground facility nicknamed the Hive, her footsteps echoing off gleaming walls adorned with holographic displays. The air thrummed with energy as the brightest minds from every corner of the planet worked in harmony, their diverse backgrounds melding into a symphony of innovation. "Status update," Samantha called out, her voice carrying a mix of authority and anticipation. A young prodigy from Lagos, Nigeria, stepped forward. "Dr. Chen, we've had a breakthrough in quantum entanglement. We believe we can use it to accelerate terraforming at an unprecedented rate." Samantha's eyes widened. This was exactly the kind of leap they needed. "Show me," she said, following the scientist to a bustling workstation. As they delved into the intricacies of the new theory, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Red lights flashed, and a voice boomed over the intercom. "Unidentified object entering Earth's atmosphere. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Heart racing, Samantha rushed to the command center. General Ramirez was already there, his face grim as he studied the main screen. "It's not Zarkonian," he said without preamble. "Different design entirely, and it's heading straight for us." Before Samantha could respond, the object changed course, decelerating rapidly. It landed with pinpoint precision just outside the facility's perimeter. Tension filled the air as everyone waited, unsure whether to expect a diplomatic envoy or an invasion force. The answer came moments later as a single figure emerged from the craft. Humanoid in shape, but clearly alien, it approached the facility's entrance with purposeful strides. As it came into clear view, gasps of surprise echoed through the command center. The alien was tall and lithe, its skin a shimmering tapestry of bioluminescent patterns. But what struck Samantha most were its eyes, deep pools of wisdom that seemed to hold the secrets of the cosmos. "I am Zixlith of the Axiom Collective," the alien announced, its voice resonating directly in their minds. "I come with a warning and an offer of alliance." As Zixlith was escorted into a secure meeting room, world leaders were hastily patched in via holographic projections. The alien's presence sent ripples of excitement and fear through the assembled humans. "The Zarkonians have not been truthful with you," Zixlith began, its mental voice tinged with urgency. "Their trials are not mere tests, but a means to assess your threat level. They fear the potential of young races, especially those as adaptable as humans." Samantha leaned forward, her mind racing. "Why are you telling us this? What's your stake in this?" Zixlith's bioluminescent patterns shifted, creating a mesmerizing display. "The Axiom Collective believes in the power of diversity. We've watched your species from afar, marveling at your resilience and creativity. The galaxy needs the unique perspective that humanity can offer." General Ramirez, ever skeptical, interjected, "And we're supposed to just trust you. For all we know, this could be another deception." The alien's eyes seemed to bore into Ramirez's soul. "Trust must be earned, General. But time is short. The Zarkonians are already growing wary of your rapid progress. They may soon decide that humanity is too great a risk to allow into the galactic community." As the implications of Zixlith's words sank in, a tense silence fell over the room. It was Secretary General Okonkwo who finally broke it. "What do you propose?" "An exchange," Zixlith replied. "We offer you knowledge, the true history of our galaxy and the principles of advanced quantum mechanics that could revolutionize your technology. In return, we ask for your partnership in creating a more balanced galactic order." The next few hours were a whirlwind of debate and discussion. World leaders argued over the risks and benefits, scientists salivated over the prospect of advanced knowledge, and military officials strategized potential defensive measures. Through it all, Samantha found her thoughts returning to the quantum entanglement breakthrough. If what Zixlith offered could enhance their understanding, the possibilities were staggering. As the debates raged on, Zixlith pulled Samantha aside. "Your species stands at a crossroads, Dr. Chen. The path you choose now will echo through millennia." Samantha met the alien's gaze, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. "How can we be sure we're making the right choice?" Zixlith's response was both comforting and unsettling. "There is no certainty in the cosmos, only potential. But know this, in all our observations of your kind, one trait has stood out, your indomitable spirit. Trust in that." As dawn broke the next day, a decision was reached. Earth would cautiously accept the Axiom Collector's offer, while continuing to participate in the Zarkonian trials. It was a dangerous game of interstellar politics, but one that humanity now felt better equipped to play. The knowledge shared by Zixlith was nothing short of revolutionary. Quantum principles that had eluded Earth's greatest minds were laid bare, opening up new avenues of research and development. The true history of the galaxy, filled with ancient conflicts and alliances, provided crucial context for navigating the complex web of interstellar relations. Armed with this new understanding, the teams at the Hive redoubled their efforts. The Quantum Entanglement Terraforming Project, now enhanced by Axiom knowledge, progressed at an astonishing rate. Within weeks, simulations showed that they could accomplish in months what the Zarkonians had estimated would take centuries. But as Earth's scientists celebrated their breakthroughs, storm clouds gathered in the depths of space. On the Zarkonian mothership, High Counselor Zarek received troubling reports. Impossible, he muttered, reviewing the data on human progress. They couldn't have advanced this quickly on their own. His eyes narrowed as suspicion took root. Unless... He turned to his most trusted advisor. Increase surveillance on Earth immediately. I want to know every move these humans make, and prepare a report for the Supreme Council. We may need to reevaluate our approach. Back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the growing Zarkonian concerns, humanity pressed forward. The first practical test of their new terraforming technology was scheduled to begin in a matter of days. If successful, it would not only satisfy the Zarkonian trial, but also demonstrate to the galaxy that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. As the launch countdown began, Dr. Samantha Chen stood in the control room, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. This was more than just a scientific endeavor. It was humanity's declaration to the cosmos. T-10 seconds, the automated voice announced. Samantha took a deep breath, her mind flashing back to Zixlith's words about humanity's indomitable spirit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. The room erupted in cheers as the terraforming probe successfully launched, streaking across the sky in a blaze of glory. As it disappeared from view, Samantha felt a surge of pride and determination. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever trials the galaxy might throw at them, humanity would face them head-on. Little did they know, their success was about to trigger a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of galactic order. The true test was yet to come, and the eyes of the cosmos were firmly fixed on the small blue planet that dared to dream big. In the vast expanse of space, as Earth's terraforming probe hurtled towards its destination, unseen forces began to stir. The cosmic chess game had entered a new phase, and humanity's next move would determine not just their own fate, but potentially that of the entire galaxy. The Nexus Protocol. The success of Earth's quantum terraforming probe sent shockwaves through the galactic community. What the Zarkonians had deemed impossible, humanity had achieved in a fraction of the expected time. But as Earth celebrated its triumph, dark forces were already in motion, setting the stage for a confrontation that would reshape the cosmos. Dr. Samantha Chen stood before a holographic display of the terraformed moon, marveling at the rapid transformation taking place. Lush forests sprouted where barren rock had been just weeks ago, oceans formed in ancient craters, and a breathable atmosphere was coalescing at an unprecedented rate. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. A familiar mental voice resonated in her mind. "And dangerous," Zixlith said, materializing beside her. The Axiom representative's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with urgency. "The Zarkonians are moving faster than we anticipated. They see your success as a threat." Before Samantha could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. General Ramirez burst into the room, his face grim. "We've got incoming. Multiple Zarkonian warships just entered the solar system." As chaos erupted around them, Zixlith placed a hand on Samantha's shoulder. "There's something you need to know, Dr. Chen, something that could change everything." In the depths of space, aboard the Zarkonian flagship, High Counselor Zarek watched Earth grow larger on the viewscreen. His mandibles clicked with anticipation. "Prepare the Nexus Protocol," he commanded. "It's time we put these humans in their place." Back on Earth, in a secure underground chamber, Zixlith revealed a truth that shook Samantha to her core. "The galaxy as you know it is but a fraction of what exists," the alien explained. "Eons ago, an ancient race known as the Precursors created a network of transdimensional gateways, the Nexus. It allowed instantaneous travel not just across space, but between parallel realities." Samantha's mind reeled. "Are you saying there are other Earths out there?" Zixlith nodded solemnly. "Many. Some where humanity never evolved, others where your civilization spans galaxies. The Zarkonians seek to control the Nexus, to become masters of all realities. And now they fear that humans might discover it first." As this revelation sank in, the facility shook with the impact of Zarkonian weapons. Earth's defenses, enhanced by Axiom technology, held firm, but for how long? General Ramirez's voice crackled over the intercom. "Dr. Chen, we need you in the war room now." Racing through corridors filled with panicked personnel, Samantha's mind worked overtime. The Nexus, parallel Earths, the true scale of the conflict, it was almost too much to comprehend. But as she entered the war room, she knew that humanity's fate hung in the balance. World leaders, connected via secure quantum channels, argued frantically about the best course of action. Some advocated for immediate surrender, others for unleashing experimental weapons that could devastate entire star systems. Samantha took a deep breath, then stepped forward. "We have another option," she announced, her voice cutting through the chaos. All eyes turned to her as she explained what Zixlith had revealed. The Nexus Protocol, she concluded, isn't just a weapon or a means of control. It's a key to understanding the very fabric of our universe and all others. If we can access it first, we might be able to end this conflict before it consumes us all. For a moment, stunned silence filled the room. Then, predictably, voices of doubt and skepticism arose. "And how exactly do you propose we find this nexus?" one leader demanded. It was Zixlith who answered, stepping into view of the holographic projections. "There is a nexus gateway hidden within your solar system. We believe it's somewhere in the Kuiper Belt, masked by gravitational anomalies. Find it, and you hold the key to humanity's survival and perhaps its ascension." As debates raged about the credibility of this information and the risks involved, Samantha's mind was already racing ahead. She thought of the quantum entanglement breakthrough, of the terraforming technology they'd developed. If they could adapt those principles to search for transdimensional disturbances. "We can do this," she said, her voice filled with determination. "But we'll need to work fast. Every second counts." Even as she spoke, Earth's greatest minds were mobilizing. Quantum physicists, aerospace engineers, and even fringe theorists who'd long postulated about parallel universes were brought into a hastily assembled think tank. Their mission: to develop a method of detecting and accessing the Nexus Gateway. Meanwhile, in orbit and beyond, a desperate battle unfolded. Earth's fledgling space fleet, bolstered by Axiom technology, clashed with Zarkonian warships. The void lit up with energy weapons and explosions, a deadly light show visible from the planet's surface. Days blurred into nights as Samantha and her team worked tirelessly. Sleep became a luxury, meals were taken on the go, and every breakthrough was followed by new, mind-bending challenges. But slowly, surely, a plan began to take shape. "We've cracked it," exclaimed Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant quantum engineer. She pulled up a holographic model that pulsed with complex equations. "By using a network of quantum-entangled probes, we can create a detection grid sensitive enough to find the transdimensional disturbances the Nexus would create." Samantha felt a surge of hope, but it was tempered by grim reality. "How quickly can we deploy?" Yuki's face fell slightly. "That's the catch. We'll need to launch the probes from the edge of the solar system. With our fastest ships, it would take weeks to get them in position." "Weeks we don't have," General Ramirez interjected. On a nearby screen, another Zarkonian battlegroup appeared, reinforcing their invasion fleet. It was then that Zixlith stepped forward, its bioluminescent patterns shifting in what Samantha had come to recognize as excitement. "Perhaps not weeks," the alien said. "There might be a way to get your probes where they need to be almost instantaneously." All eyes turned to the Axion representative. "How?" Samantha asked, hardly daring to hope. "We call it quantum tunneling," Zixlith explained. "It's risky, and it will push your technology to its limits, but if it works, we'll take that risk," Samantha said firmly, looking around the room. Nods of agreement came from all sides. They were out of options and nearly out of time. The next few hours were a blur of frantic activity. As battles raged in space, with Earth's defenders fighting valiantly against overwhelming odds, Samantha and her team prepared for their desperate gambit. The quantum tunneling device, a marriage of human ingenuity and axiom knowledge, hummed ominously as the probes were loaded. Calculations were triple-checked and last-minute adjustments made. This was it, humanity's last best hope. As Samantha initiated the launch sequence, she felt the weight of billions of lives on her shoulders, not just on this Earth, but potentially countless others across the multiverse. If they failed here, the Zarkonians would reign unchallenged, free to reshape reality as they saw fit. Quantum tunneling in 3, 2, 1. A blinding flash filled the launch bay, and for a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, readings began pouring in from the edge of the solar system. It had worked. The probes were in position, already beginning their scan for the elusive Nexus gateway. But their victory was short-lived. Alarms blared as new contacts appeared on long-range sensors. "Massive Zarkonian fleet incoming," shouted a technician. They're everywhere." On screens throughout the facility, thousands of Zarkonian ships materialized, dwarfing their initial invasion force. It seemed Zalek had called in everything he had for this final push. As Earth braced for what could be its final hours, a faint signal caught Samantha's attention. Buried in the noise of battle and the chaos of the moment, it was barely perceptible. But as she focused on it, her eyes widened in realization. "We found it," she breathed, hardly daring to believe it. "We found the Nexus gateway." In that instant, as hope and terror collided, the true battle for humanity's future and the fate of countless realities was about to begin. The Nexus protocol was no longer just a Zarkonian weapon, it had become humanity's lifeline. And Samantha knew that what they did next would echo across the multiverse for eternity. Echoes of infinity. The discovery of the Nexus gateway sent shockwaves through Earth's defense network. As Zarkonian warships closed in, humanity stood on the precipice of either cosmic ascension or total annihilation. Dr. Samantha Chen knew that the next few hours would determine not just the fate of Earth, but potentially infinite realities across the multiverse. "We need to secure that gateway," General Ramirez barked, his holographic image flickering as interference from the space battle intensified. "Whatever it takes." Samantha's mind raced. "It's not that simple," she countered. "The Nexus isn't just a doorway we can walk through. It's a complex network of transdimensional energy. We need to understand it before we can use it." Zixlith, the Axiom representative, stepped forward. "Dr. Chen is correct. Rushing in blindly could have catastrophic consequences. We need to approach this with caution and wisdom." As if to underscore the urgency of their situation, the facility shook violently. A technician called out, "Zarkonian forces have breached the outer defense grid. They're making planetfall." In that moment of crisis, an idea struck Samantha like a bolt of lightning. "The quantum entanglement drive," she muttered, then louder, "That's it. We can use the principles of our terraforming technology to interface with the Nexus." Her fingers flew over holographic controls, bringing up schematics and equations. "If we can entangle our systems with the Nexus energy signature, we might be able to influence it, maybe even control it." "And how long will that take?" Ramirez demanded. "We're running out of time." Samantha met his gaze steadily. "Hours at best. We'll need to modify our existing tech, create new algorithms." "We don't have hours," Ramirez interrupted. "We have minutes, maybe." It was then that Zixlith made a startling proposal. "There might be a way to buy you that time, Dr. Chen, but it comes at great risk." All eyes turned to the alien. Zixlith's bioluminescent patterns swirled with complex emotions. The Axiom Collective possesses technology that allows for limited manipulation of localized time fields. We could create a bubble around this facility, slowing time within relative to the outside world. The implications were staggering. Samantha's scientific mind reeled at the possibilities, even as the practical part of her recognized the immense danger. How long could you maintain it? From your perspective inside the bubble, perhaps a day. Outside, only an hour would pass. But the strain on space-time would be immense. When the bubble collapses, the backlash could be catastrophic. A heavy silence fell over the room. It was General Ramirez who broke it. "Do it," he said grimly. "If we fail here, none of us have a future anyway." As Zixith began preparations for the time dilation field, Samantha rallied her team. "All right, people, we've got one shot at this. Let's make it count." The next day, inside the time bubble, was a frenzy of activity unlike anything Samantha had ever experienced. Minds pushed to their limits, fueled by desperation and the tantalizing proximity of a scientific revolution. The laws of physics were rewritten, impossible equations solved, and reality itself seemed to bend under the weight of human determination. Outside the bubble, the battle raged. Earth's defenders fought valiantly, but they were outgunned and outnumbered. Zarkonian forces pushed ever closer to the hidden facility, their weapons carving scars across the planet's surface. In low Earth orbit, High Counselor Zarek watched the invasion's progress with growing impatience. "Why haven't we crushed them yet?" he snarled at his subordinates. "These primitives should have fallen hours ago." An aide approached cautiously. "High Counselor, we've detected an anomaly. A localized distortion in space-time centered on a facility in their southern continent. We believe the humans may have assistance from the Axiom Collective." Zarek's eyes narrowed dangerously. "So, the Axiom fools think they can interfere. Prepare the Void Cleaver. We'll tear that facility out of time itself if we have to." Back inside the time bubble, unaware of the new threat looming, Samantha and her team were on the verge of a breakthrough. The quantum interface they developed pulsed with otherworldly energy, its tendrils reaching out to touch the very fabric of the multiverse. "We're ready for the first test," Dr. Tanaka announced, her voice hoarse from hours of non-stop work. Samantha nodded, her heart pounding. "Initiate the sequence." As the quantum interface powered up, reality itself seemed to waver. The air shimmered with possibilities, and for a brief moment, Samantha thought she could see echoes of other worlds superimposed over their own. Suddenly, alarms blared. The facility shook violently, and cracks appeared in the very air around them. "The time bubble is collapsing," Zexlif cried out, its patterns flashing in distress. Something is tearing it apart from the outside. As the protected bubble of slowed time disintegrated, the full fury of the Zarkonian assault crashed upon them. Through gaps in the failing shield, Samantha could see massive ships in the sky, their weapons charging for a killing blow. In that moment of desperation, as past and present collided and the future hung by a thread, the quantum interface flared to life. A blinding light filled the room, and Samantha felt herself being pulled in 1,000 directions at once. When her vision cleared, she gasped in awe and terror. The walls of the facility were gone, replaced by a swirling vortex of cosmic energy. And within that maelstrom, she saw them, countless Earths, infinite variations of humanity's story playing out across the multiverse. "The Nexus," she breathed. "We've done it. We're in." But their victory was short-lived. A massive tremor shook the very foundations of reality, and through the swirling portal, Samantha saw a terrifying sight. The Zarkonian flagship, bristling with weapons of unimaginable power, was forcing its way into the Nexus. "No," Zexlith whispered in horror. "They're using the Void Cleaver. If they succeed, they could unravel the entire multiverse." As the enormity of the threat became clear, Samantha realized that the true battle was only beginning. This was no longer just about Earth, or even their universe. The fate of all possible realities hung in the balance. "We need to stop them," she said, her voice filled with determination. "But how can we fight an enemy that can rewrite reality itself?" It was then that an impossible idea struck her. If the Nexus connected all realities, then perhaps— "We need to call for help," she announced. "Not just from our Earth, but from every Earth, every version of humanity that exists. As her team looked at her in confusion and disbelief, Samantha turned to the quantum interface. With trembling hands, she began to input a sequence that would broadcast a distress call across the multiverse. To all Earths, to every version of humanity that can hear this, she began, her voice echoing across infinite realities. We stand at the brink of annihilation. But together, united across all possible worlds, we have a chance. The Zirconians seek to control the Nexus, to become masters of all realities. We cannot let that happen. Please, if you can hear this, if you have the means, help us. Help yourselves. Fight. As her message rippled across the cosmic tapestry, Samantha held her breath. Would anyone answer? Could humanity, fractured across infinite timelines, come together in its darkest hour? The Nexus pulsed, and for a moment, all was silent. Then, like a tidal wave of hope, it began. Ships appeared in the swirling vortex, vessels of every size and description, some familiar, others beyond imagination. And at their helms stood humans, infinite variations of Earth's children, all answering the call. Zarek's voice boomed across the dimensional battlefield, filled with rage and disbelief. What is this? How dare you interfere? But his words were drowned out by a chorus of humanity, echoing from a million throats across countless realities. We dare because we must. We dare because we are human. As the battle for the fate of the multiverse began in earnest, Samantha felt a surge of pride and hope. This was humanity's finest hour, not just on one world, but on every world. United across infinity, they would show the cosmos what it truly meant to be human. The Nexus blazed with the light of a billion suns, as the greatest conflict in the history of all possible realities unfolded, and at its heart stood Earth, not just one, but many, ready to fight for a future without limits. The multiversal convergence. The Nexus erupted into a kaleidoscope of chaos as countless versions of humanity converged to face the Zirconian threat. Dr. Samantha Chen stood at the epicenter of this cosmic maelstrom, her mind struggling to comprehend the sheer scale of the conflict unfolding around her. Infinite variations of Earth's finest warriors and brightest minds poured through dimensional rifts. There were sleek starships piloted by humans who had mastered faster-than-light travel, mechs operated by versions of humanity that had merged with machines, and even beings of pure energy that had once been human but had transcended physical form. High Counselor Zarek's voice boomed across the dimensional battlefield, a mixture of rage and disbelief. This is impossible. No single species could command such power. That's where you're wrong, Zarek, Samantha replied, her voice amplified by the Nexus itself. We're not a single species. We're humanity, infinite, adaptable, and united. As the battle raged, with weapons that could shatter planets and tactics that defied the laws of physics, Samantha and her team worked feverishly to understand and control the Nexus. They were no longer just fighting to save their Earth, but to preserve the very fabric of the multiverse. Zixlith, the action representative, moved with inhuman grace as it interfaced with the quantum systems. Dr. Chen were detecting a critical instability in the Nexus core. The Zirconian void cleaver is tearing apart the boundaries between realities. Samantha's mind raced. They needed a way to stabilize the Nexus, to prevent the multiverse from unraveling. And then it hit her, an idea so audacious it bordered on madness. The quantum entanglement drive, she muttered, then louder, that's it. We can use the principles of our terraforming technology on a multiversal scale. Her fingers flew over holographic controls as she explained her plan. If we can entangle the quantum signatures of every Earth fighting here, we might be able to create a stabilizing network, a multiversal synaptic web. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, looking haggard but determined, nodded in understanding. It could work, but the energy requirements would be astronomical. We'd need the combined power of every Earth, Samantha finished. She turned to the communications array. Attention all human forces. We have a plan to save the multiverse, but we need your help. Every Earth needs to divert all available power to the Nexus core. Now, as the message spread across the battlefield, a miraculous transformation began. Ships from 1,000 different timelines moved into formation, their energy cores pulsing in unison. Versions of Earth that had mastered Dyson spheres and zero-point energy redirected the power of stars into the Nexus. The Zarkonians, sensing the tide turning, launched a desperate assault. Their Void Cleaver, a weapon capable of erasing entire realities, powered up for a final devastating attack. "This ends now," Zalek roared. "We will not be supplanted by primitives." But as the Void Cleaver fired, something extraordinary happened. The combined energy of countless Earths, channeled through the quantum entanglement network, created a shield unlike anything the universe had ever seen. It was a barrier forged from the very essence of humanity: determination, creativity, and an unyielding will to survive. The Void Cleaver's beam struck the shield and shattered, its energy dissipating harmlessly into the quantum foam of reality. For a moment, everything seemed to hang in perfect balance. Then, with a sound that could have heralded the birth of a new universe, the multiversal synaptic web activated. Streams of pure quantum information flowed between every version of Earth, creating a network of shared knowledge and experience that spanned the entirety of human potential. Samantha gasped as the information flooded her mind. She saw countless versions of herself: scientist, warrior, leader, explorer, each contributing their unique perspective to the whole. And she understood, in that moment, the true power of humanity. "It's over, Zarek," she said, her voice resonating with the combined will of infinite Earths. "Humanity isn't just a species. We're an idea, a potential that spans all of reality. And we will not be conquered." The Zarkonian fleet, faced with the unleashed potential of a multiversal humanity, began to retreat. But the Nexus, now stabilized and controlled by the synaptic web, had other plans. Reality itself seemed to bend and reshape around the Zarkonian ships. When it settled, Samantha saw that they had been transported to a distant, uninhabited sector of space, far from any Earth, but with the resources they would need to build a new civilization. What have you done?" Zarek's voice was barely a whisper. Samantha smiled. "We've given you a second chance. A chance to learn, to grow, to understand that the universe is vast enough for all of us. This is humanity's gift to you." As the last echoes of battle faded, the true magnitude of what had been accomplished began to sink in. The Nexus, once a source of conflict, had become a bridge between all versions of humanity. Knowledge, culture, and technology flowed freely between realities, ushering in an era of growth and discovery beyond anything they could have imagined. Zixlith approached Samantha, its bioluminescent patterns swirling with awe. "In all our years of observing the cosmos, we never dreamed we'd see anything like this. You humans truly are remarkable." Samantha nodded, her gaze fixed on the swirling energies of the Nexus. "This is just the beginning," she said. "We have an infinite multiverse to explore, and now we'll do it together." In the days that followed, as the multiversal human alliance began to take shape, news spread across the cosmos. The species that many had dismissed as primitive had not only defeated one of the greatest powers in the galaxy, but had reshaped the very nature of reality in the process. Alien civilizations that had once looked down on Earth now approached with cautious respect, eager to establish diplomatic relations with this new multiversal power. The galactic community would never be the same. Back on her Earth, standing atop a hill overlooking the rebuilt city, Samantha reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From a species confined to a single planet to the guardians of infinite realities, humanity had come farther than anyone could have dreamed. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a shimmering portal opened beside her. Stepping through was herself, or rather, a version of herself from another Earth. "Amazing, isn't it?" her alternate self said, gazing at the city below. "To think this all started because some aliens underestimated us." Samantha laughed. Well, they won't make that mistake again. As they stood there, two versions of the same person united by an impossible journey, Samantha felt a profound sense of hope. The future, all futures, were wide open, full of endless possibilities. And humanity, in all its infinite variations, was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, united across the multiverse, there was nothing they couldn't achieve. The Nexus pulsed gently in the sky, a constant reminder of the incredible journey they had undertaken and the infinite adventures that awaited. Humanity had not just secured its place among the stars, it had become the very thread that tied the multiverse together. As night fell and stars began to twinkle in the sky, Samantha knew that each point of light represented not just distant suns, but gateways to alternate Earths, all now part of this grand, multiversal family. The age of isolation was over. The era of infinite possibility had begun, and humanity, adaptable, resilient, and now united across all realities, was ready to write the next chapter in its cosmic story.